It's the start to an epic road trip, and well, it's a little counterintuitive because we're leaving my house to come back a day from now. We'll explain as we get into it. So this is the start to an epic adventure, and I guess you've seen the thumbnail, so you know it's not in this ride that we're in right now. It's not about this vehicle. In fact, this is ground zero, day zero to this epic adventure in a 1990 Chevy Suburban that's not even mine. But hey, if you're meeting me for the first time, I'm Gary and Tommy. This is Straight Six Fan, your home for offbeat hot rodding, and it's collab time because Jason, old car guy, is flying into Wichita, Kansas tomorrow as I record this, and that's where I'm going. I'm going to pick him up from the airport. So it just so happens that is where I grew up. Well, outside in the country anyway. So it's convenient for me also because my wife's vehicle was in the shop and we had to borrow for mom and dad. They're in Toyota Tacoma, so I'm gonna make it's a great excuse for a one-way trip to return the vehicle, pick Jason up from the airport. We'll go pick up his 1990 square body Suburban. So that's what you're here for. Let's get going. All right, so we've departed Augusta, Kansas. The epic road trip has started. We are here in the 1990 Chevy Suburban. Old car guy is behind the wheel. Smiles per gallon. Definitely high at this point. We're only 3 miles in the trip, but so far so good. You know what? The best thing though is that it came in beige, and you know that that's a #1 rule for old car guy and Straight Six Fan is if it ain't beige, we don't want it. So, man, we're looking forward to it. We got so much coming, so much to like this episode. I normally don't like doing the long format versions, but I think this is you're in for the whole shebang here. I'm gonna imagine this is gonna be a long episode, but it's gonna be worth every second of it, every minute of it, and we're glad to have you along for the ride. And yep, this is what the YouTube journey is all about: is making friendships, international friendships, and road trips halfway across the country.
And listen, guys, if you haven't done it yet, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to Straight Six Fan because he's got some footage. I'm going to have some footage on my channel. It's going to be an epic road trip.
All right, so we're 20 miles down the road. Jason needed some supper, well, lunch supper, because, well, Atlantic time, it would have been almost 6 o'clock, so we went to Freddy's, which is the Kansas staple. About ready to hit the road, up the road, 2 hours to my place. So far so good. Made it with 20 miles without a hitch. So we'll see if we can make it the 120 from here. Yeah, no, it's a great day for a drive. You can see blue skies, a little bit of wind. Of course, that's the huge for Kansas. Yeah, the adventure has only begun, and Jason's doing his intro, his walk around for his content.
The belt looks good, the oil looks good, brake fluid's all there, transmission fluid, everything.
All right, well, first leg of the trip a success. We made it back to the worldwide headquarters of Straight Six Fan successfully, safely, no issues. But Jason is trying to troubleshoot the cruise control because, yeah, if we could fix that, that would enhance the experience for the next, we'll call it 1,700 miles.
1,700 miles, and we're almost halfway there. But we did, how many miles is it to Wichita?
It's basically 3 hours, like 2:10 to my parents' house, and we probably, leaving from Augusta, knocked off 30 of those. So
okay, so 180 miles. Check the oil, it's right at the top. Transmission fluid smells good, it's nice and red. Coolant, one thing he did tell me was that the cap does leak a little bit, but I don't think it's the cap because it's not wet here. It's wet below that heater hose.
I mean, you can see the signs of corrosion, right, from like the changing of the color.
Yep.
But,
we're just going to send it. We probably should maybe pick one of those up, maybe at O'Reilly's.
When we make that return trip to hand out my stickers, because some Nimrod forgot their stickers down to Wichita, but Yeah, it was funny. So funny anecdote there. We roll right into town, the town I live in, and we're like, let's go to O'Reilly's, pick up the stuff. And as soon as we walk in, as usual at O'Reilly's, it's high school kids working who like cars, right? So they're talking YouTubers like Weston Champlin. They were talking about, ironically, 802 Garage, who we interviewed on season 2 of the Car Guy and Six Fan show. They're like, have you seen that guy who's V10 swapping a Subaru? I'm like, oh, we know that guy.
We know that guy.
So, info card up over to the left of your screen, the 802 Garage. But yeah, so those are just kind of funny. We're going to go back. Jason handed out his stickers. We bought duplicate wiper blades, we realized. And so we're going to make a return trip to O'Reilly's and pick up 3 more subscribers. All right, here we go. Start of day 2. Let's head to St. Louis and let's go pick up John Custom Car Nerd Myers. All right, so we're a little behind schedule because the conversation at the breakfast table is just good enough that we didn't get right out the door at 8 o'clock. But beautiful morning here, just outside of Kansas City. We're headed towards St. Louis. We're gonna go pick up John. And so we estimated, the rough math was about a 180-mile journey from Wichita to my house. And the old burb, Dale Jr., did great.
Hardly a problem.
No,
love for the cruise control to be working, but other than that, didn't miss a beat.
Running like a champ. So we like our odds today. 4-hour drive to St. Louis, so that's a nice little step up. It was a 3-hour journey yesterday. We'll do 4 to lunch. We make it there all right. It's another 4-hour journey to Indianapolis, but we're going to go by the Kansas Speedway, Jason being the big NASCAR fan that he is. Now, if we all would have looked at the schedule just a little bit closer, maybe if we offset this by 1 day, we could have taken in qualifying or something, but no big deal. The objective is being met. We're going to get this thing to Canada for Jason.
That's the plan.
So we got Dale Jr. coming around, basically turn 2. Kansas Speedway. So just around these trees, about ready to hook up with I-70, and yep, just 10 miles down the road, 12 miles down the road from my house. But yeah, now Jason can say, you look off in the distance there, over the hill. Yeah. The grandstands for Kansas Speedway.
But you know what the funny thing is the distance that we'll be driving home, we'll have run 4 Kansas races. I mean, we ain't got nothing on NASCAR. NASCAR ain't got nothing on us.
I did warn Jason that we're bound to get stuck behind a semi, trying to pass another semi here on I-70 between Kansas City and St. Louis, but haven't even encountered that once, which is a miracle.
Well, we kind of did at the scales back there, because the trucks, they come off the ramp out of the scales, and it's uphill.
Yeah. So he had a little taste of it.
A little taste, but we've been doing all right.
So we got sunshine, so that's a good sign. But we're being honest with ourselves and being real that the 38-year-old and the 48-year-old bladders capacities maybe aren't what they were when the overflow tanks, the reservoir
ain't as good as that once was.
Exactly. So we'll be stopping over here in a bit to get some waters to throw in the cooler. We want to give you a tour of what the tool bag looks like now. All right. So first stop, day 2. We're at a Love's truck stop just outside of Boonville, Missouri. Picked up a case of water. We will, I guess, first drama of the trip. So this camper that just rolled in right in front of that, there's like a black Ford Explorer. So as Jason and I rolled up, look up, this guy's at the pump, and I realized there was a policeman right behind him, cuffing him at his door. Story from the checkout counter. Gentleman probably should not use that phrase because it's gonna be inaccurate. Douchebag beat his girlfriend earlier in the day, left his girlfriend there. Girlfriend called the cops. So luckily justice being served. But we're gonna go through what else we are packing on the trip. To, the little safety blanket, the survivor's kit, if you will, aside from water. We loaded some stuff up from my garage. We went to O'Reilly's last night when we rolled into town, and yeah, that anecdote, so we'll tell you that real quick. If you didn't catch our live stream after day 1, right as we walk in to O'Reilly's, we hear the high schoolers behind the counter. They're talking YouTube, and so of course then we engage them in conversation, let them know what we're doing, and you know, Jason hands out his channel stickers. I didn't have any of my own on me at the time, so we went back to my place, grabbed Lori G3, went back, and it was funny when we showed back up, they had just, you know, it was a dead night for them, and they just pulled up Jason's channel as we rolled up. And so these high schoolers throw their hands in the air in glee, and they're like, sweet, they're back. And so we walk in, and it was just really cool to help make their night that night. But let's get inside and let's see what we're bringing with us on this journey when it comes to tools. All right, Jason, so we're on the road, but we get a chance to basically essentially do a Toolbox tour here with Dale Jr. So let's go through what we're bringing with us on this journey and what we've collected sort of on our stops along the way.
Yeah, so it's really hard when you're flying in somewhere and driving, or driving somewhere and flying, because there's only certain things you can bring on a plane.
You learned the 8-inch limit.
I'd learned that 8 inches is the limit for anything.
And that's what she said.
That's what she said.
So, I had to, sorry.
This was my toolkit. So yes, this is bigger than 8 inches, but it's a plastic funnel. But in my toolkit I brought some fuses, some gloves, and I brought the smallest set of pliers that I could find. We got some speaker wire for some extra wire. My test light apparently broke and fell apart, but that's more than 8 inches. They let me keep that. Go figure. I only had the metric adjustable wrench,
but hey, it'll do in a pinch.
We've got a tire plug kit just in case. Again, must be less than 8 inches.
And speaking of the tires, like, so the previous owner basically put new tires on 2 summers ago.
Yeah.
So that hopefully is not an issue, but you know.
Hopefully it's not an issue, but you can still pick crap up along the side of the road somewhere.
Exactly.
I also brought, I had a test light, but I also brought my Testman Smart Multimeter. Automatically detects what voltage you're using, plus it's got non-contact voltage on it as well. If you want one of these, we're going to leave a link down in the description box down below. They're only about 25 bucks. It's a great little tool to keep in your arsenal. We got zip ties, we got electrical tape, and we got a piece of fuel-rated hose, just in case.
Don't be a wank.
Fill your tank. But we did stop at O'Reilly's, like you were saying earlier, and we picked up some oil, some transmission fluid, bag of rags, a new serpentine belt, just because you never know.
Yeah. You
know, stuff happens. Rain-X. We bought wipers thinking we'll put new wipers on it, but down on by the spare tire, which I didn't see until after the fact.
Okay. Guess that guy took out a little too fast.
Anyways, there was an extra set of wipers in there. I had some Amazon affiliate money. If you guys don't know what that is, linked in the description box below is going to be a lot of these tools that you can find on Amazon. If you buy them, we get a small percentage of those sales. So I had some of those type of credits on my Amazon account, which allowed me to buy this toolkit and have it shipped to Grant. And this is a 3/8 and 1/4 inch bits. This was like 50 bucks.
In full disclosure, I did christen the tool set at Mom and Dad's because Mom asked me to change the oil in the lawnmower when I was there before we picked Jason up from the airport. And honestly, like, so it seems like if you're gonna go Chinesium,
yeah,
actually it looks like a pretty decent toolkit. Like, I would recommend.
And at the end of the day, it's something you can throw in your hot rod and just leave it there for those just in case moments.
Touch and feel wise, I mean, again, early returns. It actually looks like a decent little set for what it was.
Yep. At Grant's, we actually picked up a few extra little things that we're going to bring with us, stuff that he didn't care if he didn't make it home with. So we got a bucket to carry some things. We've got some leftover refrigerant here, which we're going to try and top up the AC. We've got some
shop rags.
Yep. So
degreaser,
cleaner hand. We got some power steering fluid. We've got some RTV gasket maker. We got a little multi kit here for the miscellaneous
hardware stuff.
Vice grips with hose clamps on them, and just in case we got a
pinch a fuel line, a brake line, or something.
We can't make it to the next stop. We got vacuum line, we got thread chasers, we got a wire brush, we're JB Weld. We know we're not going to cover every situation, but what we don't cover here, AAA will.
Absolutely.
So I'm not, you know, I'm not that smart, but I know enough that if I'm traveling 2,000 miles in an untested vehicle, that AAA goes a long ways.
So only time will tell if this is going to be sufficient, if this is going to be enough. There's also another random socket set that I had, someone gave me years ago, but I never used it. So again, things, what can I live without, you know, and worst case scenario, you don't, or best case scenario, I guess, is you don't use them. Worst case scenario is you use it.
You got what you need.
So yeah. But anyway, we now the next step is to christen Dale Jr. with some channel stickers. So instead of stick figures for the family, we're going to start doing channel stickers for the YouTube family riding.
Yep.
All right, so we made it to St. Louis safely. Picked up a hobo along the way.
A hobo with pink eye.
A hobo with pink eye.
So no, but the
I have jalapeno-osis of the eye. I don't know the medical term of that is.
It is. That's. I think you got it right. Luckily, that's why we video. We don't have to spell that out. We just have to say it. Jalapeno-osis of the eye.
Yes.
Yes. No, but the
Stop sign,
yeah, the band's back together.
Those are stops in the Midwest, and that's this airport. And that's more.
It's just not engaging.
Well, it's probably that the diaphragm is rotten. It's got a hole in it. I mean, physically, the diaphragm has got a hole in it. I usually say that cruise control sucks, but it does not suck, so it does not work.
So yes, we're on the Illinois side now of St. Louis, and yes, we're already like 16 puns in with John Meyer.
Why not?
The Get Out and Drive podcast, but hey, that just means I gotta up my game.
That's true. You got to up your game because I've upped my game. Now up yours.
All right, so quick update. We're probably what, 500 miles in by now? We think roughly. No issues still. Of course, we've succumbed to the no air conditioning issue. So we've got the vent windows, we've got a window crack here, we got the cross flow ventilation going. Of course, we got the rear open, but outside of that, keeping cool with John Custom Car Nerds, stories of the automotive paint and body industry. So it's been awesome just listening to the anecdotes and you know the history of it, all things custom cars. So it's been awesome, a great addition. The three amigos back together again, and so far so good. We're trucking towards Indy, probably going to get there right before 7 local time, and looking forward to meeting more YouTubers. Made it to Cletus and Cars. We elected to park across the street. We even went as far as to slow down to this front gate up over here, which ain't that close. Asked them where we should park, and they told us to park there. Proceeded to struggle with our ticket purchase operation. And then when we finally made it through, with the zero intuitive direction as to how to best get to that facility right there.
And after everything's all said and done, we're still not going to get to see Brittany Force.
Unless we come back tomorrow.
Maybe.
Turns out we were supposed to go that way, which was not obvious either, but hey, we're here. And again, if this is the worst thing we experience, I guess, on this trip, we'll take it.
Thank you, race fans, for sticking with us. The weather forecast looked terrible all week long. We appreciate each and every one of you being patient and being passionate and coming out here and enjoying this race with us here tonight. Well, we got Burton's car squared up to the back of the ramp truck, so once they get the hooks in the front of that thing and drag it out of the way, we'll be back under green flag action here probably a handful. There were some issues with some of the incidents on track, but Cletus on the move around the outside of Nelson Reunited. Last time by, Zach Walker was faster than Tony Stewart.
right, well, it started day 3 here on our epic adventure from Kansas to Canada, and we were on the outskirts of Indianapolis. So Cletus and Cars last night, actually pretty cool. We showed up late, but still a good time, and we felt like we got every bit of our $45 cost of entry, but just doing a little more, making sure all the fluids are topped off on Dale Jr., and you know, it's been running like a champ so far, so good. We feel like, we didn't look it up on Google Maps, you know, approximately, probably close to 700 miles under the belt. So out of the 1900, not quite halfway, maybe 40%, but so far so good. We're gonna try, see if Advanced Auto's got some Freon recharger, because the lack of AC, well, it was a little hard to get some good air movement yesterday without the obnoxious noise when you're going 75 miles an hour on the interstate. So we're gonna see if we can't troubleshoot that, make it just a little bit better for the rest of the journey, but it's been running like a champ. So we're on the road, left Indiana, headed for Ohio, and hopefully meet up with some other YouTubers at Summit Racing. And I think each state we've gone east with, the roads have continued to get a little worse and worse and worse. So Indiana, you hold the crown right now. Worst roads. We hope Ohio will be an improvement, because everybody knows Pennsylvania's roads and their reputation. So we're really testing out, as you can see, the image stabilization. It's Indiana roads versus a lowered square body Suburban suspension with slightly deflated airbags, horn shocks, and all of the sorts. But this is the experience you guys tuned in for, and this is what we're giving you.
But the AC works.
That is true. Thanks to John and Jason, we got the AC going. Alright, so we made it inside Summit. Never been to a brick and mortar Summit before, so really cool. They got some turntables here, or turnstiles, whatever you call these, with some custom builds. So we got, I guess you'd call it your Pro Street over here. And then we've got your Pro Touring. I don't know if this is an Aaron Kaufman's Falcon, maybe, but I think it might be. Alright, so as you know, the tagline here on Straight Six Van is offbeat hot rodding, and it's kind of centered around the OPEC era cars and how you can still make really cool things out of these mid-70s to late 70s cars. So check out this Continental. I mean, this is sweet. If the internet's gonna help out and connect the owner of this car to my channel, hopefully that'll happen. Hopefully someone will run across this video, recognize the car, but hey, congratulations, man. This is cool.
So yeah, it's been to 2 power tours. It'll do another one this year. It's been to Holy Ford Fest, on QA1 coilovers in the front. It's cleaned up all the wiring last weekend.
What exhaust do you have on it? It sounds so good.
It's full custom. It has tri-Y headers, 2.5-inch through an X-pipe, single chamber Summit Racing mufflers, and then 2.5-inch out the back out of a GT tail, so it like shoots straight out.
Okay. sound real good.
My dad and I built it together before he passed away.
And that small radiator, who's that?
Before we go, once again, go check out Allie. We'll leave an info card up over. It's always left. I gotta remember it's left. But thanks for showing us around Summit, and this is awesome. This is a great little stop off. So really enjoyed it. But we gotta hit the road. See if we still can't get this guy to the next country over.
Yes.
Yep.
Panels, patch repair panels that we need. Not just to get the rocker panels done and heaters and headers, but to get that.
Currently do not see anything.
All right, here we go. Started day 4. I think it's gonna make it. So we're in Danbury, Connecticut. Rolled in about 11:30 last night to this sweet motel. No, actually it's pretty, for this type of thing, when you're running cross country, just looking for a place to crash for a couple hours, it did the part. So let's see, we got Golden Hill Inn, Danbury, Connecticut. But let's see if we can make it to Portland, Maine, so John and I can fly back and try to get this guy back to St. Stephen.
At least 100.
They had 100, 120.
Damn, I gotta get that freaking dash cam going.
So we're like 420 miles to safety, and finally our first big issue.
Yeah.
So recount the story there, John.
All right, so we're running this thing probably 70, 75, pretty comfortable, and 2 cars just passed us. One passed us in what I believe is the HOV lane, and his vehicle was not highly occupied. They're probably doing 100, 120. A vehicle passed us on the right and kicked up rocks. We caught this rock chip right here. And guy on the right, he comes up pretty quick on an oil catch can. And he swerved around the thing. We watched it get sideways, and I'm not certain, but I'm pretty sure the right rear wheel came off the ground. And that thing went back and forth, left, right, left, right. I thought we were going to see headlights, taillights, headlights, taillights. We did not. I don't know how he recovered.
I know the pucker factor was about at least a 7 for me. I can't imagine what it was for that guy.
Yeah. Well, you're doing 120 or better, and you come up on something you see in the road.
Yeah.
You're covering a bunch of real estate pretty quickly.
In a short period of time.
And I can't believe he didn't crash.
Yeah, and I was trying to sleep when this all went down, but from the looks at the taillights, it was maybe like was it an Evo, a Mitsubishi Evo, or a WRX, or
this one was a GR Corolla.
Okay.
And this one I think was a RAV4.
Okay.
So it was like the battle of the Toyotas.
Right.
And Bob
Yeah.
from Worcester
Yeah.
was trying to get his work on time. He almost spilled his coffee.
Right. I know they were getting it pretty quick.
Welcome to Massachusetts.
Welcome to New Hampshire.
Hell yeah, bro! Show us around your digs.
Yeah, man, this is pretty cool.
Painting, a little bit of everything we do. And I do a ton of color too.
Yeah.
I do a lot of color. Pump out car shows. Like yesterday, I had to do a show stand for somebody. It's a car show stand. It's one of our tables. We got a show coming up in a couple weeks. One Eagle Car Show. Okay. Yeah, it's a big show down here.
Yeah.
So we'll be a vendor there in a couple weeks. So we're starting to slowly get some stuff built up for that show.
Real job or?
Both.
Yeah.
So I work twofold. Well, this and another job.
Yeah.
So by next spring, it should be hopefully just this.
Yeah.
It's good. It's been busy. Getting busier every year. So we got several of our own projects, but we don't have much time to work on our own stuff. Mostly it's customer stuff.
Yeah.
Two International Lodestar rat rod that we're in the process of putting together. So my buddy, I bought this from my buddy who did a lot of this work already, and kind of had the vision to take it to where it's kind of at looks wise, and he had a great vision. So he kind of I don't say he gave up on it, but he kind of got tired of it, and it was just sitting around. And he reached out to me and he's like, "This is right up your alley. You need to finish this."
Yeah.
So we bought it from him, and now we're working on finishing.
What chassis is it on?
This is a '53 Chevy 110.
That's what I was going to ask, because it's Chevrolet.
Yep. So, 72 cab, 53 chassis, hodgepodge of everything. So it'd be perfect to get it up.
That you don't need an enema.
Classic words of advice to live by.
You
from
got
John.
it.
Well, this is maybe our final. The three of us stop meeting another YouTuber. So Trucker Dave. Yeah, but
he's got a YouTube presence. He
Very
harasses
small.
me all the time.
I might try.
Yeah, that's very small. That's what she said, Dave.
But long time participant in the chat on the Car Guy and Six Man show. So familiar face, even though I've never seen your face before today.
Wow.
We'll never get.
He seemed much taller in text.
Yes.
Yes, right?
All right, so I think this is where the journey ends, at least for myself, in my episode. We'll be closing it down from here. Okay, so this is the end of the road for me. We're at the Portland airport. I'm about 4 hours early before my flight, but good news is Jason should be able to get home before the sun goes down. It's about, I want to say like 2:30 local time, and just, man, great trip. And so special shout out to Trucker Dave, who volunteered to drive us from the truck stop we met up at to the airport to help Jason shave off maybe half hour, 45 minutes of his further commute, because he took a split right before we got to the airport. And so I know that helped him out. But man, what an epic adventure. What an awesome journey. I'm so glad to get to do things like this. And I say, like, if you're out there watching this, if you're a YouTuber yourself, do something like this. It just can't help but put into words what it's like just to be able to meet some of your fans from a long time, and even meet new people in person. We're all cut from the same cloth, so it's really cool. Definitely do it if you can. Jason, just want to personally say thanks for the opportunity. Last year's trip down to Atlanta was awesome too, but this is the fact that this trip got to start in my home state. Basically, ground zero is where I grew up, and then you got to see Lori G. Pre, all those sorts. Dude, man, thanks, and more thanks. But we'll wrap it up. We're gonna call this an episode. So way longer than I normally like to do, but I think it was worth it, and I think you all can agree. So if you want to see how this journey ultimately ends, obviously you're gonna have to make sure you watch Jason's version of all this footage. We'll be swapping footage back and forth. But hey, that's gonna do it for this episode. All my Six fans out there, thanks for watching.